I Have a Special Plan for This World by Thomas Ligotti. 1. When everything you have ever loved is finally gone, when everything you have ever wanted is finally done with, when all of your nightmares are for a time obscured, as by a shining, brainless beacon, or a blinding eclipse of the many terrible shapes of this world. When you are calm and joyful, and finally, entirely alone, then, in a great new darkness, you will finally execute your special plan. Two. One needs to have a special plan, someone said, who was turned away into the shadows and who I had believed was sleeping or dead. Imagine, he said, all the flesh that is eaten, the teeth tearing into it, the tongue tasting its savor. Oh, the hunger for that taste. Now take away the flesh, he said. Take away the teeth and the tongue. Take away the taste and the hunger. Take away everything as it is. That was my plan. My own special plan for this world. I listened to these words, and yet did not wonder if this creature, whom I had thought sleeping or dead, would ever approach his vision so special to him, perhaps in his deepest dreams, or his most lasting death, because I had heard of such plans, such visions, and I knew they did not see far enough, that what was demanded in the way of a plan needed to go beyond tongue and teeth, and hunger and flesh, beyond the bones, and the very dust of bones, and the wind that would come to blow the dust away. It was then I began to envision a darkness that was long before the dark of night, and a strangely shining light that owed nothing to the light of day. 3. That day may seem like any other day. We will feel the tiny-legged trepidations and be mangled by a great grinding fear. But that day will have no others after. No more worlds like this will follow. Hence, no more trepidation or fear. Because I have a plan, a very special plan, to crush it all into a shapeless stain, like a filthy little spot on a wall somewhere. 4. There are but 4 ways to die, a kind of spirit revealed to me. There is dying that is relatively sudden. There is dying that is relatively gradual. There is dying that is relatively painless. And there is the death that is full of pain. By these means, all dying occurs, and there are no others. Even after the voice ceased speaking, I listened for more words about dying. Some days this struck me as so important, and other days no great thing at all. It was such a matter of confusion, one that called for a special plan. Yet all I heard were the faintest echoes about the 4 ways to die, and how there were no others. Some decisions seem so difficult, especially the 4 ways to die, the why and when of it, the generalities and particulars. But finally the Spirit spoke again. There was a special plan for us all, precise manner we each will go that was always in the works, and though unknown, it is true, a fearful weight upon our minds. At least it was something to know that ultimately life gives us a break, and in the end will take charge, so that we may be always dumb as dirt, through a choice that was never ours to make. 5. There are no means for escaping this world. It penetrates even into your sleep, and is its substance. You are caught in your own dreaming, where there is no space. You are held captive when there is no time, and it can do nothing you are not told to do. There is no hope of escape from these dreams that were never yours. The very words you speak are only its very words, and you talk like a traitor under its incessant torture. 6. There are many who have designs upon this world, and dream of wild and vast reformations. I have heard them talking in their sleep of elegant mutations and cunning annihilations. I have heard them whispering in the corners of dark, desolate houses, and in the alleys and narrow back streets of this crooked, creaking universe which they, with their new designs, would make straight and sound. But each of these designs is deranged in its heart, for they see this world as if it were alone and original, and not as only one of countless others, where nightmares all proceed like a hideous garden grown from a single seed. I have heard these dreamers talking in their sleep, and I stand waiting for them as at the top of a darkened flight of stairs. They know nothing of me, and nothing of the secrets of my special plan, while I know every single step of theirs. 7. It was the voice of someone who was looking at the moon, waiting for me to turn the corner of a narrow, ill-lit street and stand with him in the dull glaze of a pale, fading night. Then he said to me in a low, dark voice that my plan for this world, my special plan, was a crude mistake. Because, he said, there is nothing to do and nowhere to go. There is nothing to be and no one to know. Yes, I said, I know you are right. You are speaking to no one on his way to nowhere, with nothing to do when he finally gets there. Good to have met you all the same. But he was gone before I got his name. 8. The children always followed him when they saw him hopping by. A funny walk, a funny man. He made them laugh sometimes. He made them laugh. Oh, yes, he did. He did, he did. He did, he did. Oh, how he made them roll. And then, this funny little man who made them laugh, sometimes he did, took them to a secret place to tell them things they had never heard. Funny things about this and that, and such, and so and so, but mostly of his special plan. His very special, funny plan, hoping they would understand and maybe laugh sometimes. He made them laugh. Oh, yes, he did. He did. He did. He did. He did. But something happened to these kids. Their eyes grew wide between their lids. They shook and screamed and rolled about. Oh, how they rolled and rolled. 9. I first learned the facts from a lunatic in a dark and quiet room that smelled like stale time and space. There are no people, nothing at all like that. The human phenomenon is but the sum, the densely coiled layers of illusion, each of which winds itself upon the supreme insanity that there are persons of any kind, when all there can be are mindless mirrors, laughing and screaming as they parade about in an endless dream. But when I asked the lunatic what it was that saw itself within these mirrors, as they marched endlessly in stale time and space, he only rocked and smiled. Then he laughed and screamed, and in his black and empty eyes I saw for a moment, as in a mirror, a formless shade of divinity, in flight from its stale infinity of time and space, and worst of all, in this world's dreams, my special plan for the laughs and screams. 10. We went to see some little show that was staged in an old shed past the edge of town. And in its beginnings, all seemed well. The miniature curtain stage glowed, while those dolls bounced along on their strings before our eyes. And in its beginnings, all seemed well. But then there was a subtle turning point, which some had noticed, and I was one, who quietly left the show, though I did not, because I could see where things were going, as the antics of those dolls grew strange, and the fragile strings grew taut with the pulling of tiny limbs. The others around me became appalled and turned away, abandoning the show that was staged in an old shed past the edge of town. You see, I was witness to what should not be. I wanted to see it and be amazed by a moment of consummate disaster, when puppets turn to face the puppet master. "11. It was twilight, and I stood in the grayish haze of a vast empty building, where the silence was enriched by a reverberant voice. All the things of this world, it said, are but of one essence, for which there are no words. This is the greater part, which has no beginning or end, and the one essence of this world, for which there can be no words, is but the sum of all things of a defective creation. This is the lesser part, which had a beginning and shall have an end, the spectacle for which words were conceived, solely to speak of. The tiny broken beings stumbling through their existence. Now remove these words, and what remains? The voice asked me, as I stood in the twilight of that vast, empty building. But I did not answer the question, which became a whirlwind of echoes circling around me. I remained silent until the echoes died and twilight passed into night. And I felt my special plan, for which there are no words, moving towards a greater darkness. 12. There are some who have no voices, or none that will ever speak, because the things they know about this world, and the things they feel about this world, because the things that fill a brain that is a damaged brain, because the pain that fills a body that is a damaged body, exist in other worlds, countless other worlds, each of which stands alone in an infinite empty blackness, for which no words have been conceived, and where no voices are able to speak, when a brain is filled only with damaged thoughts, when a damaged body is filled only with pain, and stands alone in an infinite empty blackness, and exists in a world for which there is no special plan. No special plan. No special